G'day and welcome back to the third edition of the No Pun Intended podcast. Week 2 is over, week 3 is ahead of us. Been a busy week for a lot of us, scrambling to even get the graphics done to do this in time, but we are now doing this on Sunday, when it permits. Some weeks we might have to switch days or whatever, someone might be missing, but we want to do it on Sunday so we can get, first of all, our prop bets that we've been cooking with which we only do like Sunday night, message between us, but they're not usually out on Thursday for most of the Sunday games. I mean, they were week 1, but who knows what's been happening since with the bookies. But on Sundays for now, we might even start streaming it too, if we can get ourselves organised at a good enough time. But we'll welcome in the boys. Tom, I think one of your tips just got up, mate, in the last at Sandown. You're on the board.
Yeah, thank God. Yeah, definitely needed it. Definitely needed it. So, look, not very good on the horses, and 0-6 for the picks, but hey.
Or no,
he's up in the
Gold Coast, cooked here.
You're in and out. You're a bit delayed, but he's up in the Gold Coast on the hotspot. So, and there he goes.
He's gone.
Anyway,
he's been replaced by Hezbollah.
Yeah, Hezbollah's in there. So it's not a bad replacement, really. We'll get the graphics going. We'll get onto the first thing, which is Sports Deck, which we always go through. So I'll talk to you boys after that. Anyway, this is going to be stuff too because I've got this set up for 5 people as well. So hopefully Tommy comes back soon. But look, much like our picks and this podcast, really. For me, I was 443 last week, 1300th, not great at all. How'd you guys go, Scotty? How'd you go last week in Sports Deck?
Pretty average, Benno. I think I had the VC on Herb, and then just forgot about it. Then just had JT as captain, so it wasn't too great. A few hits and pieces were pretty good. I'll talk to it when we talk about trades later. But Derrick Henry disappointing again, like normal. Even though he got the touchdown, so yeah, pretty average so far. So thinking I might start to take a few more risks coming up to kind of catch up to everyone, but not a great week.
Dan, how are you, mate? Well, got to welcome you boys in, but doesn't look like Tom's coming back. We'll see. How'd you go, Sports Deck, though, mate?
Average, but I think the captaining of Diggs absolutely saved my week. I think he went absolutely nuclear. We get like
177, so
77 or something. Yeah, so 140 odd, 150 odd sort of captain. So it was pretty insane. But yeah, no, that sort of saved me. The rest was sort of a bit average. I started Juju, who had like 2, and JT was pretty average as well. And obviously a few of us started Lance, copped a 4. So yeah, I think a few of us will be obviously moving off him. But look, did all right. Dropped only about 96 spots. But ranking's still not too bad at 983, so I'll take that after that sort of week.
And Bex, I think that's a talking point, isn't it, really? Trey Lance, who I think was like 40% owned. So, look, if you went the double QB, you'd be happy seeing that happen. But what are the options, you reckon, for people with Lance this week?
You can go down, but the down options aren't great. Tomlin seems pretty keen on not playing Pickett anytime soon. If you don't have Mariota, he's a great option. But the only other one really is Rush. But with Dak possibly coming back week 5, maybe week 4, but most likely week 5, only probably going to get a couple of price rises out of him and maybe not quite enough to actually be worth it. So I'm doing Eckler down, a Saquon to fund Lance up to a primo. I've got enough in the bank to get Josh Allen, but there's plenty of options. There's so many good QBs at the moment. So, I mean, Hurts, Lamar's cooking, even Tua is like a stopgap option if you can't get up all the way to the Ubers, because that huge score is going to keep going up in price next couple of weeks.
Yeah, I think we can sort of run through my team, which most people would be a similar position as me. So I had Cook, and I was tempted to go Aaron Jones, as I did say earlier, and he had the big game this week. But even running back's been a bit of a crapshoot so far this season. We own the guys that have pretty much, or these two at least, the large workload. Sack's probably the third that has most of the workload. So for me, I think at 8 mil, I have to. Well, not have to, but it's a good way to sort of fund getting Jalen Hurts in. And then the way we can do that, there's a lot of great wide receiver options, a couple I don't have in London, Wilson, even looking all right, even Olave if you've got him. But MT, I think, is the one of the bunch, and so I can sort of see merit in actually fielding him every week, whereas I've got to drop a wide receiver to fund it. So, get a few mil from Cook to sack, and then get another few mil from whoever I pick, probably Hollywood, to be honest, and get who would be the best, you boys reckon, out of those rookies. I think we all say MT's the best. Scotty, who would you go out of London, Wilson or Olave?
Hard to tell. I think Olave looked really good. He was targeted, I think it was the most times last week, and I've had him in one of my fantasy teams, so he's been pretty well. Wilson had a really good work week last week, so I'd probably say maybe Olave, but it's a pretty hard call. And I've got Dotson, who's been doing well in Washington, but they're going to
throw in
touch
Samuel as well. So, Curtis Samuel.
Yeah, Curtis Samuel's been insane.
I think for me, it's Drake London. Dan, are you?
Yeah, I was going to say Drake London too.
Yeah.
I think Olave's been all right, but I just think there's a lot of mouths to feed there at New Orleans. And Garrett Wilson was honestly insane, but again, once Zach Wilson comes back, who's to know what's going on there? Where I think Drake London's situation, I think him and Mariota have built a good bit of chemistry there, so I think he's probably the safest option if he stays healthy.
Agree, Bex?
I'd be going London of those as well, and I'd be feeling MT over the likes of Sutton and A-Rob.
Yeah, that's what I was going to
say. Yeah.
So, if I do, I think I'm just shy of Josh Allen here, which is annoying. Yeah, but it's always the way. And I can obviously trade. I can trade like Mike Williams instead of Hollywood to do it.
He was good last week, though.
That's worth it. Yeah, I know.
Nah, I think I'd hold Mike after that. Keenan's still a bit up in the air.
But Herbert with the ribs, he's like playing with crack. Like
Chase Daniel
cartilage
worst,
or something.
I guess.
Nah.
It's a bit of a downgrade.
I'd hold on to Mike after that.
It depends. Do you think Mike is that much better than Hollywood to where you go Hurts over? Like getting Allen over Hurts might be better though.
I like long term because I think Mike would probably be a better option long term than Hollywood because obviously Hopkins to come back, Rondell probably get a bit more healthy.
Yeah, you're probably flipping these wide receivers anyway, though, right? Aren't you?
The other thing is if you get say Garrett Wilson or Curtis Samuel instead of London, does that make up the difference? Because the difference between them, especially if they're going to be on your bench, probably isn't that much in comparison.
Yeah.
If they're going to be sitting on your bench anyway.
I think it's only, 100,000? I don't think it matters. Like, I don't think I can, sorry. If we get, because I think, Hollywood's way too cheaper, so it's still 500-600 grand. So.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know, I think with Herbert's injury and still Hopkins is still out for another 3 or 4 weeks, and then by then I'll probably move Hollywood on anyway. That was the plan.
Sure. Yeah.
So maybe I'll stick with it this way anyway. And get rid of.
Or you don't get the JA. Maybe get a Lamar or something.
Well, that's what I was thinking. You can get Hurts, Lamar, something like that.
I just think it's so worth it from a captaincy point of view.
Yeah, correct.
Outscoring everyone.
Yep. And I've got Herbert too as well anyway, right? So I might have to actually trade him out too. Yeah. Not looking good. Yeah. You're back, Tom, mate. How are you going to Sports Deck?
Well, I hope this can work. I'm bloody having the hotspot. So, Sports Deck, am I cooked again?
No, you're good.
You froze for a little.
Okay. No, thank God I got Josh Allen and Herbert. That's the only chance I've got in this bloody game. In terms of trades, got in MT who was fine, but I traded out Diggs who actually looks okay with Cooper Rush. So I think this week I'm gonna get in. I can't remember who I was actually going to get traded. Actually, no, I'm getting Amon Ra. So I reckon he's money. So I'll get him in, and I'm trading out A-Rob. Stuff him.
I think he has a buy though, which is a reason for it. Like he shares the buy with Diggs and someone else that's pretty common that week. Maybe JJ, I think.
I think JJ and Cup as well for anyone that has him.
Yeah, so there's merit there, I guess, if he's not going to be fielded then anyway. He could still come good and still make a bit of cash, but that buy I think is coming up pretty soon. But anyway, let's get into the Goats League. We've got a new logo as well, which I've just been strapped for time this week. Granny yesterday. I guess we haven't spoken about yesterday, and still feeling a bit of a hangover. What did we think of the game, boys? Wasn't pretty to watch, was it?
There was a game on.
It was zoned out by the first quarter.
Yeah. So look, I haven't had much time, but from coming weeks when we stream, I'll definitely be ahead of it and have a lot more organised. But last week, what do we got? Bex beat Doers pretty easily in the end there. Lamar went off.
Lamar and Tyreek in that high-scoring game really
Yeah,
carried me.
Yep. So that was pretty comfortable in the end. Doers team, not too flash. Probably better than mine, though. Which we can see on the next one. A pretty handed loss, although the same like with you. He had Tua down the bottom there, and the defense. Look at that! Look at that crap! I got 0 from the Colts. He gets 30 from the Bucks. So that's where I lost that one. Otherwise, most of my team probably was better than his for the most part. But yep, that's where all the points came from.
You must be really happy with that team. You've dumped 2 of them already.
Yes, they're off the roster. I think I got Jimmy G. So I don't. What did I spend on him? Buddy, $60 or something. So see if that man can save me. Tom, the Bills. They got you the job done over Jules pretty easily. Yeah, just
huge, mate. I needed 75 to win and got 95. So obviously, Davis being out was huge because it meant Diggs just absolutely feasted. And then the Bills D is looking good as well. So the fact I've got the offense and then the defense has gone back-to-back huge weeks. So actually pretty comfortable in the end.
And then my eyes, but I think I see 100-point loss.
Yeah, look, I'm tagging for the first pick next year. I'm going to get Bryce Young. Or is this the wrong sort of league? Because this is an absolute discussion.
Yeah,
but
redraft, yeah.
In saying that, yeah, I got no words. Over to you, Scott.
Oh, if you want to know what the matchup was like, you just watched yesterday's grand final. It's pretty much the same thing. So, 100-point win, never in trouble, easy money.
Yeah. Look, I'm going bad, but at least someone's going worse. So, thanks, Dan. This is how the ladder looks. So, as I said, I'm down the bottom there, but Dan's just below me.
Well, I'll do the classic Bex. Oh, look at the points for. Oh, yeah, no.
Look, the points against with you, but look at the point for anyway.
Look at the points for. Look at the points against.
You can't win. Yeah. I think Scotty's got double after what, 2 weeks? Look, 343 for Scotty, 180 for you.
How's the Dicko 2-0? That's sickening.
Yeah, that is sickening actually. But Tom and Beck's up there, very very nicely. Sitting pretty. And I think Scotty's got a good team as well. Just got that unlucky loss week 1, so I think you 3 are looking actually pretty good.
Yeah, look at Scott's points for. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Going to 43.
Easy. Matchups this week. I think there's a few. Yeah. So Scotty's got Jules first of all, and what have you had there? Kareem for 9 points.
Kareem, yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah, I guess
No
it's
Jules.
not the worst.
No.
But you're projected to win pretty easily. Any other sit-start decisions you're making, or?
I was wondering about 50-50 between Hunt and Everett, because Everett has been doing really well for the in his position. So I think that the main things that have been worrying me, I think my wide receivers have been in, and even my tight ends have been doing really well. It's just been my running back. So the man who I knew would burn me, who I got anyway, Zeke. Yeah, I'm hoping he has a good game against the Giants. But yeah, it's more just the running backs that worry. But the rest of the team I'm pretty happy with. I'm not sure if Wentz will keep up the 20s, but we'll see how he goes this week as well. But the rest of the team looks pretty good.
Yeah. Looking solid. I got Bex. This probably should be an easy win for Bex, I'd imagine.
Yeah, if you've got a few out, Stack's out, Elijah Mitchell's out. You've got Jimmy G covering.
Pittman
Schultz might
back,
be out as well.
Thank God. But yeah, Schultz, you're right. I might have to pick up a tight end tonight. Although I saw Tom got Tyler Conklin, who I was probably going to get. So
good Tom.
He stole that option. So yeah, probably pretty easy win for Bex, but you never know. You never know. See if my memory is Eckler taking him in the first, and what I've been getting from him. I know he came all right out all right. Sorry, last week with all the catches at the end, but that's not really super sustainable. You want more of the
snap rate's really poor at the moment.
Yeah, and the touchdowns aren't looking as likely as they. I mean, I knew he wasn't going to score 20 like he did last year, but he might not look like he might even score 10. So
yeah,
we'll see.
Michelle on the goal line.
Yeah, that's disgusting. And then Tom versus Dan. So look, it's actually got the projections in Dan's favor somehow. But how are you boys feeling?
No. First of all,
not
I have to.
Dan?
Half of my team is injured. Kamara, I don't think will play. Winston is on the bench.
I think he is, but
Keenan's not cleared either. So I'll have to wait and see if they're going to play. Only option for me is if I swap Geno against the Falcons with Jameis with the Panthers if he plays. But other than that, I'm running 2 tight ends. Yeah, look, anything's possible, but Tom needs two players to go off, and that's Josh Allen and fucking Diggs to win this game. That's all he needs, really.
I see a few questionables in Tom's team though as well.
Yeah, he does have a lot.
Well, I've got Knox, Judy, and Dobbins is coming back for the first game, so I'm risking Dobbins fielding. I cannot field Rex shithead again, so he is completely gone. In terms of, I reckon T-Law's projected is way under, like 15. I reckon he'll easily go.
That seems low, yeah. Geno's is 18.
Oh, he's benched the Bills. I know they got the Dolphins, but
nah, that Dolphins, they're scary. Eagles have got Washington, and I reckon the Eagles' defense is actually not too bad at all. So I was pretty happy to take them. But yeah, I reckon T-Law is definitely under there. Like he'll definitely go higher than Geno. So I'm pretty confident I should win.
I think it's just riding again. Alan Diggs. That's
it.
The week will be
That's
determined.
That's the strat.
Not a bad
strat.
It's not a bad strat at all.
I don't know who plays him in week 7 when the Bills have the bye.
Oh, that's a good point.
Tom will spend the whole $100.
No, it doesn't matter.
All right, the picks. Let's get into it. See how we went last week.
Ooh.
Not looking good, Tom, but a few of us were able to redeem ourselves. Me and Dan going 2-1 helped after the 1 and 2 in week 1. Vice versa for Scotty, and then Bex with the 3-0.
A lot of green on the board.
And Tom's got a long way to make up. So for the most part, I think us three on the Bills, that was obviously big with 3 of us on it. I think for me, the Bears and Packers unders was a little bit lucky in the end, I guess. There was 3 touchdowns in the second quarter, I think, from the Packers, but other than that, not much offense from me, the team, and then the Browns. I mean, I was going to get the footage, but I didn't have time. But the stat is the Browns blew a 13-point lead in the final 1 minute and 20 to lose 31-30. NFL teams had won the last 2,229 consecutive games when leading by 13 points in the final 2 minutes. And the last team to blow such a lead like that was the Browns as well in 2001. So thank you to the Browns. And then to be fair, Cade York missed the extra point. I don't know when, but that mean they lost it. So even after the first touchdown, the -6.5 wasn't on anyway. But if he kicked that extra point, maybe you go to OT and then anyway, I wouldn't have won. So look, to be honest, I probably deserved to lose anyway. But the fact that they just actually lost that game outright was just hilarious. So the Browns would be the Browns. Tom, you want to run through your picks? That were honestly pretty unlucky as well, to be honest, again. But
look, I reckon to go 0-6 is actually hard. So that's actually hard to do. So look, a few tough ones like Chargers covered junk in the end to get it, and then I had the Ravens who are up by about 25 or whatever in the 21 at three-quarter time and get run over by Tua. So look, definitely tough there. The good thing though is for this week, if I was anyone watching, I would definitely fade me for my 3 picks. So you've got a great chance here to go 3-0 this week if you just take opposite of what I've got. So I've definitely got that in my favour.
Well, that same Chiefs-Chargers game, Dan, was the ending of your lock. I mean, we should say we're 1-10 on the big locks collectively. Beck's finally got one on the board. But again, that Chiefs, they decide to kick the field goal on the 1 yard line or whatever. Yeah.
That first quarter sort of killed 3 points in that first quarter. But other than that, there was pretty much like a couple of touchdowns. Each sort of it hit 51. Like you can't. It is what it is. But yeah, it's different.
It's a high line, so that's always a risk.
Yeah, it is what it is. I guess.
Scotty, I think what was the stats, mate? Did they go for you week 2?
Yeah. I went good. I went 3 or 4, but I picked 2 of them, and one of them was the one out of the 4 that lost. So, Jags did really well, which is good. But then, Panthers not that great, and then Saints pretty even through 3 quarters, and then just got absolutely smashed. So, not a great week for picks, but feeling confident this week. So we'll see how we go.
And Bex, I think the Giants was the only one that really was touch and go.
Yeah, Giants was a bit iffy, but going against the Panthers usually works. So then the lock, the unders, the Pats and Steelers offenses are just horrible. Yeah. So that was always looking pretty good.
All right, we'll get the spreads up for week 3. So obviously the game already happened on Friday for us, or Thursday night. The Browns with that last second defensive touchdown, killing. I think did it kill the overs? Oh, the overs I think was already dead, right?
Yeah, I think it was already over, but I think it might have killed the line.
Might have killed the line, yeah. So, that was unfortunate, but we didn't touch that game, of course. Anything stand out? There's a lot of there's a few lines here on Sportsbet I've been looking at it. No 0.5s, the +6s, +3s. There's a few of them around. So, anything stand out to anyone that's you think is off, or what? As far as a line,
I'd say just with how the Lions have been playing, I think +6 is pretty good against the Vikings. I mean, primetime Kirk ain't it, but I mean, they're back at home. They might be a lot better, but I think the Lions are quietly underrated. +6 is quite good. I reckon they might keep this close and it goes down to a field goal. So I think Lions. I'm on them this year. I like them a lot, to be honest.
There's no massive lines like there was last week.
Nah, the other one's the Commanders. A divisional game is probably one I'd look at too.
They're the most. Philly, the most favored team of the week.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
That's a bit interesting.
Tough one, yeah.
I know they've been good, but yeah.
I think total points wise, I think they're going to start to come down. A stat I'll talk about later is the under is 22-11 so far, which is the most since 1996. So the under's consistently hitting. I think it's like a 66.7% mark at the moment. So you might see bookies Sporting Bet starts to drop their lines a bit more since it's hitting and have a bit of an adjustment to it. So that's probably something to watch out for.
There we go. We've moved your stat up, Scotty, because it makes sense to put it here anyway. Further higher up. So here we go.
It's time for
Scotty's
presented by No One.
Alrighty, so hopefully I got a good one for you as well. Last week went 3 out of 4, so pretty happy with that, 75%. The one I've got this week is since 2010, winless teams are 45, 29, and 1 against the spread. We're not facing another winless team. So I'm going to go through those teams now. So that's 60% win rate. So if we look at the first ones, if we're looking at the Texans, and they're matching up against the Bears this week. So it's that the Bears goes against the Bears is that the Bears are 1-4 straight up and 0-5 against the spread a week after playing the Packers. So Packers have had a pretty good record against them. They've been beating them down recently. So that could be a stat if we go for the Titans.
Stat within a stat.
He's got a stat within a stat. How many do you get? I mean,
a lot.
Yeah, come on, mate.
And then, Justin Fields has been pretty average, so happy things. We've also got the Panthers. So Jameis Winston is one of the worst quarterbacks in terms of being a favorite. So I think he's only covered 30% of the lines as a favorite as a quarterback. And then since 2005, out of 94 quarterbacks, he's the third least profitable against the spread when he's a favorite. So back against Jameis. Falcons, simple reason, they've covered the line 2-0 so far. So I'm pretty confident they can keep it competitive and they might even get the win as well. And then Colts, a team I've been against this week, is I found actually pretty good stat for this week. So over the last 20 years, the Colts, after playing the Jags, who they've had a pretty terrible record against, similar to kind of the Packers as well, 24-9-1, so a 72% strike rate after playing the Jags. So if you want to get on the Colts for a plus 5.5, get on it now. And then the Bengals, which I'm the most confident in, I'll talk a bit more when we get to our picks as well. But that's the pick for that week. I reckon if we get 3 out of 4 out of 5, we'd be pretty happy.
Oh, wait, so better. That last stat should be Bengals
that should be the
highlighted
Bengals.
-6
Yeah,
instead of Jets. Yeah, so it's Bengals -6.
So this man's got the stat to pull up 5 games and then talk about the stats within those
Each game.
What do we think about that, boys?
Yeah, look. Yeah, your head's getting a little bit too big, mate. Bring it back down, okay? You got a small segment here.
All right, that brings us to the picks. And to be honest, I actually like the
go.
Falcons this week. So with Bex on this one, with the Falcons, I think they can win that outright. They've been pretty impressive so far against a couple of decent teams. So I can think they can win this outright. Packers, Tom.
Okay, hear me out here. So can someone quickly tell me who Tom Brady's going to throw to this week?
Yeah,
Leonard Fournette.
Julio's playing.
Miller time.
Yeah.
So Godwin out, Evans out, Julio
playing.
questionable, Gage
Easily.
questionable. Yeah. So and even Lenny is questionable with a hamstring. So I'm pretty happy with taking the Packers with the points here. I think last week they were actually not too bad against the Bears. If Bakhtari is back as well, that'll pretty much have the Packers as healthy as possible. So pretty happy to take the Packers here.
Okay, well, maybe Dan, with your big lock, mate, we'll go straight to you against that.
So I could throw the same question to Tom. Who the hell is A-Rod throwing it to? Sammy
Doesn't matter.
Watkins is out. What do you mean it
see
doesn't matter?
Did you see AJ and Jones?
Both,
Yeah, okay.
both AJs.
Have you seen the Bucks defense this year? They've been insane. Tom Brady's been
Who they
rubbish,
played?
and they've still been good.
Who they played?
You're getting up and about Packers beating the Chicago Bears. Calm it down.
Money.
Nah, screw Tom's +1. Take the mortgage. Tampa at home will smash the Packers. Are you kidding me? That's free money. And okay, first of all, let's read down after the Packers won to 0-6. The man said fade everything. Get on the Tampa -1. Fade it. Absolutely fade it. My next pick, Raiders against Titans. I think Titans have been rubbish, and Raiders have been quite unlucky, honestly. Quite good against the Chargers, and look, choked against the Cardinals.
Week. They absolutely collapsed.
Yeah, that's what I say. They choked against the Cardinals, but again, they were still pretty good, pretty competitive. But I think Cardinals and Chargers are both better teams than the Titans. So I'm happy to take the Raiders.
No, I kind of agree. Titans is terrible.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the Titans,
lost their main tackle as well, which hurts their run game.
Yeah,
Derrick Henry's
and Scotty's just part of the stats again. Are we going back to the stats? The Bengals pick.
We are. So this relates to this I talked about. 0-2. People have had big hopes. So this is a team that was in a Super Bowl last year. They need to have a statement win. They need to have it now. So backing in Joey Burrow, this team, they're versing a Jets team. So a Jets team that's rated last for their defense. You talked about the last 2 minutes last week. If they didn't have that last 2 minutes and the win, would the line be this small? Maybe not. And then we talk about the thing that the Bengals have been struggling with is they're protecting the O-line, protecting Joe Burrow. So that's something that the Jets are not good at. So I think they're second last in pass rush. So I think a bit better Burrow, Chase, they get on the same page. They win this. Bengals have covered 16 of their last 17 wins. So if they win, they should cover. So all above the Bengals.
Jeez, protect the O-line.
Yeah, protect the O-line and protects the quarterback. There's a few of us going. I'm going to some totals. I don't know. I'm a lot of the
gone the
games
right way.
and the spreads this week just make me nervous. So I'm just sticking to the totals. Did me well last week, one of them. So I'm going the unders on this game. Texans at the Bears, pretty terrible offenses, and just bank on them not getting it done. Their defenses aren't amazing, but they're decent enough. And look, Davis Mills isn't the worst in the world, but I think Fields doesn't have much to work with. He's been struggling himself, so I like the unders there. Tom's gone the unders on another game. Well, you and Scotty have, so talk us through that one.
I'm pretty confident. I reckon the Seahawks are nearly the worst.
Is this just the Seahawks? Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a stat that they've only scored on 17.6% of their drives, which is the worst in the league. So pretty keen that there's going to be either field goals or just long drives that are drawn out. And I don't know whether the Falcons are that good. They sort of junked it up at the end of that game against the Rams. So I reckon this is going to have a whole lot of field goals or just long drives that just draw it out. And I'm pretty happy to take the under 41.5.
Colts, Dan, does this one make you nervous against the Chiefs?
Yeah, very nervous actually. But it did have a stat that I actually looked at myself, which I'm not proud to say, Scott. But apparently any team that's come off a shutout has covered the spread 68% of the time. But in saying that, the Colts are playing the Chiefs. So I'm happy to ride this one. I wish it was a bit bigger than 5.5. But Colts at home, I'll give it a crack. Chiefs are due to sort of, have a fart. But I think Colts might just sort of sneak in there.
Matty Ice not worrying you?
Yeah, that whole team is worrying me. I mean, the Colts defense is meant to be, really solid, but we'll see. I'm happy to roll the dice on that.
All I'm hearing is doubt here.
Yeah, I don't like it, to be honest. I mean, it's my second pick. I don't like it, but I'm happy to back a stat.
There's 15 other games you could have gone with.
What else? Everything was sort of rubbish, I guess.
He's gone with Scotty and you can't trust it. Just going based purely off the stat.
Yeah, this has got Scott written all over it. If it loses, I'm blaming him. But yeah.
Fair enough.
Saints Bex. I mean, Scotty just put some good
Yeah.
stuff out about Jameis. Are you,
Yeah, there's been a lot of
guessing this
stats
one.
against the Saints, but I'll go in with two key points. One is fading Tom's lock. I mean, that's just easy money. And the second is the Panthers have lost their last 9 games. They're just horrible. I mean, the Saints haven't had the greatest start to the year, but they're still a good team. They've got enough good players. Panthers are crap. They'll win, and they'll win by more than a field goal.
I like it, Bex.
Yep.
Fade the Tom.
Fair enough.
Do you want me to go then?
Yeah, go for it, actually. Yep.
Big. This is, I reckon, nearly lock of the year, this bet.
This is good for Bex.
And I'm about to tell you why. So
Feeling
since
confident.
2006, underdogs of +7 or less against teams who are negative against the spread. So even though the Saints have been okay, they actually are 0-2 against the spread to start the year. Covers 66% of the time, okay? Since 2005, week 3 underdogs with 1 against the spread loss that's been under a TD cover 62% of the time. So who fits this? Panthers. Winless week 3 underdogs that are between +1.5 and +7 cover 62% of the time. Panthers. Week 3 home teams that are winless versus a visitor with at least 1 win cover 62% of the time. Who's that? Panthers. Panthers are 0-9 against the spread in their last 9 games. In the last 20 years, only 1 team has lost 9 in a row, and that was the Falcons back in 2015. So it has to be broken here. It's going to revert back to the mean. Panthers are going to cover here. This is an absolute lock of the year.
We wake up.
I think Bex is loving
I'm
all that.
looking forward to some green.
Lock of the year.
Imagine like a last minute TD to kill the lock. Or a field
Clip
goal.
it. Clip
The
it.
field goal, yeah. I'm looking at the field goal.
Field goal to kill the lock.
Clip it for next week, Benno. Clip that.
Oh, I will.
Start it
I
off.
will. We'll have more time, so yeah. Again, I'm sticking with the total. I'm thinking this game will be like a shootout like last week. Waddle and Tyreek look very good with Tua at the moment. Of course, it's still a bit skeptical of Tua myself, but I think the Bills won't struggle to do, hold up their end of the bargain for the total. It's just whether or not the Dolphins can, but they're at home. So I like the fact that it's not, in Buffalo. I probably wouldn't go for it if it was, but I think they can score 3 touchdowns, and that should be enough, in my opinion, to get over here. So going with that. Who haven't we spoken about? Dan spoken about his.
You go,
Scotty,
Scotty,
the Rams.
The Rams this week's pretty simple. So if we're talking about
simple.
head-to-head, yeah, very simple. I'll tell you what. Sean McVay against Cliff Kingsbury. This is the definition of free real estate. Is 5-1-1 against the spread and 6-1 straight up. All right, those wins were by an average of 14.2 points per game, each one by at least a touchdown. This man owns Cliff Kingsbury. He has no clue what he's doing. All right, we talk about our last 3 in Arizona: 30-23, 39-28, 34-7. All right, this Cardinals team is putrid. They've conceded 67 points after 2 weeks. They've had probably 1 good quarter in the last quarter last week. We talk about overreactions. If we look at, there's 2 sides of this. So if we look at on the Rams side, they're up 28-3 against Atlanta. Atlanta come back. But if they kept that same pressure on, we're seeing probably a bigger line here. Same with that. Cardinals have stinker, probably majority of their quarters, have a really fantastic quarter, force it to overtime, they do it, and they force this line. So I think the Rams are better than what the Cardinals are. And I think, I'll take Rams every single day for this -3.5.
No, I actually agree with
Matt. I agree with the only thing with the Rams and the worry is the fact that they don't have a run game. So it's hard for them at the end of the games. I reckon that's what happened against the Falcons. It's hard for them to cover the spread sometimes because they have no running game that other teams can get back into it, and you can't burn the clock. That's my only thing.
Yeah, fair enough.
maybe just keep going to cup. Just keep going to cup, even if you're up big. Just keep.
Cardinals suck.
Yeah, snap the races.
Bex sticking with an under for the big lock.
Yep. So they've had some easier fixtures against poor offenses, but still, San Francisco is the best defense so far this year in terms of yards conceded, and Denver is 3rd in terms of yards conceded. So 2 of the best defenses in the league. And then on offense, Russ has struggled mightily. Judy's still very questionable with his rib injury. And then with Lance and Elijah Mitchell out on the San Fran side, their run game is going to be hurt quite a bit by that. Jimmy G typically is a bit I guess it's less explosive, probably more consistent but less explosive, so probably less likely to get those huge touchdowns that end up pushing this into the over. So I'm backing both defenses to keep it under 20 apiece.
Yep, fair enough. So let's see how we go, boys. Bit of on the improve. See how Tom goes. If he can get a pick on the board this week.
Easy.
We'll get to our any times from last week. Not the greatest from the boys. Yeah, in the end, I'm spewing I didn't go Chubb in the end. I really should have, to be honest, instead of Mixon. But so who Dan got across the line, and so did Scotty with Derek. Yep. You're still trading him out though, aren't you?
Yeah, he's gone. I kicked him.
This week, it only makes sense to pick a player for me who's coming off 3 touchdowns, and I've just picked the over in that game as well. And Stephon Diggs. I know Gabe Davis is back, I believe, Tom, but I still think Diggs is the man. So if I'm expecting the over there, I'm expecting a Diggs touchdown. Teal and Tom going back to Scotty's week 1 pick.
Is he
even involved?
Steve, look, I reckon so. Since 2018.
There it is.
This man hasn't gone three games in a row without a touchdown, so he's absolutely due. He's playing 95% of snaps. They're playing a team whose defense really is putrid against the Lions, as much as I do like watching Lions games. So there's going to be a whole lot of points in this one, and I reckon that's going to get our man feeling it, and he should score a touchdown.
Monty, Dan, last minute change here.
Yeah, I thought I'd change it up because we originally had 3 from the same game. So I thought I'd just change it up. But I think Monty has actually been quite good, depending on comparing on how the Bears have been. He was actually pretty good against the Packers.
Yeah, he was.
And I think against the Texans defense, I think this man will be in there and we'll just be doing the old excellent, We're loving that one. But I think Monty's an absolute steal there at that point.
Well, they have to lean on him, really, don't they?
Yeah, they've got no other sort of run game. Herbert played a bit in the first game, but other than that, I think Monty's the main man down there.
Cup, Scotty?
Yeah, it's pretty simple. Cards defense, I talked about it all. Consider the most points. They've had 7 TDs thrown against them in the last 2 weeks. Paddy threw 5. Stafford's thrown 4 TDs, 3 of them gone to Cup. So pretty simple. Just think he'll score.
Yep. And Amon Rabex.
Yeah, so a lot of talk about his receptions record at the moment, but he's also scored 8 TDs in his last 8 games. And this game has the highest line of the week between them and the Vikings. So it should be plenty of touchdowns for him at $2.20 odds. I think that's good value.
That is good value. So $32 for that multi, boys. If you want to jump on prop bets, we had to get these. And this is part of the reason we had to move to Sunday. This is the only thing we've been cooking in. 9 out of 10 prop bets.
Najee
Tom's
Harris.
the only one with Najee not getting it in week 1. And he got injured late as well. But other than that, we've been cooking.
What about
last week?
Why is it not
Trixie in week 2.
Why is it not $1,000? Yeah, look, not sure. Bit of a glitch. But for this week, to keep the streak going,
He just flicked it. Up to the next one.
Hey, I don't put them on. Or maybe I did. I don't remember. Again, we've got 3 from the same game here. So the fact that we've got a couple, you can't choose Tua's interception with other ones in the same game. Unfortunately, it's not like we have the same game market, but I've gone Waddle over yards. I think another pick from that game, just thinking shootout. So why not go another player from that game who's been on fire? Tom's gone the Tua pick.
Yep, easy.
I think they'll be chasing
they're going to be throwing it to be able to keep up with the Bills, which is fine. I think Tua might have like 300 plus yards, but definitely thinking that there's going to be a pick coming up, and the Bills' defense, especially secondary, is pretty elite. So happy to have Tua.
Dan Amon-Ra, another common name.
I've just gone the receptions ones. I think this line is quite short because since week 13. He's had more than 8 receptions last year against the Vikings. Since then, he's had 8 receptions every game. So
about 7 or 8 weeks in a row.
So his last 8 games, he's had over 8 receptions. So for the line to still be 6.5, I think is that's just pretty easy. I think easy, especially in a high scoring game.
I think for this one, I'm really confident. I really love the Eagles. I think they've got a 6.5 line. I think the Washington is going to be struggling to keep up to them, so I think they're going to have to be throwing the ball a bit more. I think Philly are 4th team in terms of overall possession, so they like to keep the ball. Also, Washington's also got the 2nd worst block rate for their running game. So I'm just not confident in Gibson. I think throughout the preseason they've talked about things. I even think when Robertson comes back, he'll take over. So just not confident. I'm happy to fade another running back.
Bex, same thing. Just too much thrown in this game. Seems to have lost his role, hasn't he, too? Chase?
Yeah, so the Bills have allowed the lowest rush yards per game, so that it's going to be tough to rush against that front. And then they've actually lost a couple of in the secondary, Hyde and Jackson are out. So I think there's going to be a lot of passing in this game. And then he's been splitting carries with Mostert, and Mostert carries 11-5, and the early down snaps 29-17 to Raheem Mostert last week. So he's kind of lost the rushing role. He's more of a receiving back at the moment, and they're not going to be rushing much anyway. So unders on Chase Edmonds.
Yep. It's actually all breaking news with players being available for this. I just saw Justin Herbert actually is a true game time decision, they reckon. So,
because he's tossing up whether he wants to have a lung or not.
Yeah, he's just calling Tyrod to see what he thinks.
How they had the same doctor that ruined
Still
Tyrod's career. Yeah, it's the same. It's the same bloke. That's why Herb's like, geez, do I actually want to live or not?
It's how he got into the team, I guess, at the start. But time for Danny D.
Yeah. So last week, pretty average, to be honest. Everyone had one, only Paddy and Stafford had the two. But I'm starting to get a feel of who's actually throwing, who's actually we can rely on. Russ Wilson can go in the absolute fucking bin. I'll tell you that right now. He is an absolute disgrace. That Broncos team is a joke. So I've gone with, I think, the two safest players at the moment just to get a win on the board for now, which is Paddy and Josh Allen. I think they're +2. But I wanted a bit of juice. So I went Derek Carr because I think he has sort of been throwing the ball a bit and their run game is sort of dead. I think Jacobs is out this week as well. So I think Carr against the Titans, pretty shitty secondary, will throw a bit to Devontae. And then the old primetime Kirk. I think he bounces back in a big way in a high-scoring game against the Lions. JJ was pretty average. Slade kept him pretty quiet. So I think they bounce back and hopefully he throws one to I'm feeling it and we get a couple from him. But at $6.30, I'm pretty happy with that. Two pretty safe legs there with the Paddy and the Josh Allen. And we'll just take a bit of a risk there with Derek Carr to get this over the line. So hopefully we can get a win on the board this week, boys.
Yeah, Derek's been flinging it. He just been throwing a few picks.
Yeah, well, that's expected, but yeah.
He's going to continue to, so... All right, Bex, you're up.
I'm coming straight from the dome. I'm coming straight from the dome.
Bit of pressure, Bex.
Yeah, last week was not good. Duvernay only had 2 targets, but they were both for quite a few yards, and the last one, as they were chasing the game, hurt a bit, and then Zay Jones wasn't ideal with the shutout. But all right, so I've already talked about Chase Edmonds under. Scotty's actually gone over the Rams a little bit, so I'm with him here. The Cards have conceded the second most receiving yards out of anyone so far. Cup's gone over 100 yards in both games so far, and he's gone over 90 yards in his last 15 non-playoff games. So he should at least get very close, if not over this. And then Darrell Henderson. So Akers basically didn't play game 1, and then game 2 he came in and played quite a bit, but it was almost entirely on early downs. So Henderson had all 5 2-minute drill snaps and all 6 third down snaps. So I think even though he didn't actually get a reception last week, he's in the right role to get the receptions, and we can get him over 2 here for $1.60 for a $5.66 multi.
Sweet,
Nice.
Here we go. Let's see if this is still around next week, this segment. But nah, I don't mind a few of those. So, all right, winding up here. We got Tom's tips to finish.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money.
Look,
where
I
is
reckon
the money?
you stitched me up here
money.
because we actually won the week before, and we don't have the results up. So we were on Arf Cabin, who got up and is the Guineas favourite. So thank you very much. Ice Bath would have been the absolute walking, breathing moral if it actually didn't get scratched, because it only finished a length behind Animo. So I'm going to count that as a win as well. And then if you actually follow us on Twitter, We had the multi rolling up into Eduardo needing to win us over a K, and we hedged that then with Nature Strip, which if you follow us on Twitter, you would have got. So that week was great. Look, this week wasn't good. Definitely not. Went 0 for 2 for the singles and 1 of 5 for the multi. Not that anyone cares, but I actually did well yesterday and Saturday. What I'm thinking is, what I'm saying is, there's something going on here. I just got to get the right.
Juices are flowing. Juices are flowing.
I got to be selective. So I'll definitely throw some stuff up on TikTok on Fridays with those tips. So yeah, apologize for this week, but I don't think anyone's following them anyway. So I think we're safe. But wait until we get a win, and then and we can get up. Yeah,
no, I did sit here. I did tweet obviously last week when Ice Bath got up. Sorry, Af Cabin got up. Ice Bath, that is a joke. Yeah, that is very unlucky. It would have won that Newcastle race easily.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then when we got to the Nature Strip race, we hedged that. So look, and by the way, you did salute in that last one, by the way, just then at Sandown. So
yeah, exactly.
On the board.
We didn't have that singly though. So one of 5 and the $1.80 pop getting up in the multi. Yeah, that's great. That makes you feel better. But hey, we move on to next week.
Take it.
So you've got to go over and follow Dan's TikTok, because pretty much it's still his TikTok at this point in time, but it is under our branding. But that's where Tom's tips will go up.
Yeah, and then we'll repost on Twitter.
And then we'll post on Twitter, of course. Yeah,
and then for any of the subs, we're going to be going Caulfield Guineas Day. So anyone here watching, feel free to come down and see us on the track. You can get a Tom's Tips promo. I'll give out an extra tip for free.
Live tip in the flesh.
Got the merch as well. Merch ready to go.
Live, yeah. It'll be a live tip. So feel free to come down and hang out with us.
We'll stream next week, boys. I think we'll do this live so we can get get a few people in the comment section maybe, and it's a good time. As I said, there's literally tweets happening right now as to who's available and whatnot, and we can probably speak about that at the end. I'm
off, boys. I've got to go to dinner, so I'll catch you all.
See you, Tom, mate. Have a good one. We'll sign off anyway.
2.5. Absolutely put the house down. Mortgage. Bex, you're an idiot.
I enjoy taking your house off you.
Oh God, he's gone and just ruined the graphics as well. All right, boys. We'll see you next week.
Okay, boys.